a couple of different websites have reported a rumor, and that's all it is. It's just a rumor at the moment. Nothing's been confirmed. Nothing's been signed. But there's a rumor that Shawn Porter will fight Adrien Broner on June 20th on a PBC card. So it will be on free-to-air television, network television, terrestrial television, whatever you want to call it. And apparently, according to sources close to both of the parties, it could be a catch weight of 144 pounds. But again, it's just a rumor, so we'll see what happens. If this fight does take place, and I think there's a high possibility that it will, because a lot of people seem to associate Al Haymon with cherry picking for his fighters and giving his fighters easy, easy matchups and stuff like that. Now that Al Haymon has his own setup, his own PBC setup, there's no reason for him to protect his fighters as much as he was doing before, because Adrien Broner and Shawn Porter are both Al Haymon fighters. So whoever wins really doesn't make any difference to Al Haymon. So I think you're going to see more of Al Haymon's better known fighters fighting each other in close to 50-50 or risky type fights. You're going to see more and more of it, because ultimately it seems as though Al Haymon wants to create kind of a UFC type situation. And in UFC, you get a lot of competitive fights. Not that many mismatches in UFC, relatively speaking. So that's another one of the things that might actually be good in terms of what Al Haymon is bringing to boxing. If this fight goes down, how do you expect the fight to go? Now, a lot of people are instinctively going to pick Shawn Porter in this fight because they see Adrien Broner as kind of an undersized guy. Shawn Porter is a very, very big welterweight, and he is tremendously strong. He might be the physically strongest welterweight there is at the moment. Very, very physically strong. But with that being said, his technique leaves a lot to be desired. And if a guy, I know Adrien Broner's short. He's not as tall as a guy like Julio Diaz. But if Julio Diaz can give Shawn Porter so many problems just with his precise punching and counter punching, isn't there a chance that Adrien Broner could do the same? And I know Marcus McDonough did what he did to Adrien Broner. Beat him comprehensively, really. Dropped him a few times. But Shawn Porter is not the puncher that Marcus McDonough is, in my opinion anyway. He's certainly not as prolific a puncher. And what I mean by prolific is there are certain guys who can punch very hard, but because they're not very accurate and they don't have the coordination and timing down, they find it difficult to land with full power on a consistent basis. So those guys might be able to punch just as hard as a Marcus McDonough, but they don't have the knack of being able to land with full power in fights consistently. So I don't know who hits harder in terms of one punch between Shawn Porter and Marcus McDonough if you put them on a punching machine, but certainly in the ring, Marcus McDonough is a much more prolific puncher, right? So I don't know. I think that it's a decent fight, and I'll give Adrien Broner a fairly good chance. It's just the physical strength of Porter is what Adrien Broner is going to have to compete with, because if he thinks McDonough was strong, I think he's going to find that Shawn Porter is even stronger than McDonough was. So will he be able to deal with that type of physical strength? Kell Brook was able to outbox Shawn Porter because he might not have been quite as physically strong as Porter, but he was strong enough to be able to deal with Porter's roughhouse tactics. Will Broner be strong enough to deal with that and still be able to get his punches off? Will his slippery defense, I know it's not Floyd Mayweather slippery, but it's still pretty slippery. Will his slippery defense be able to nullify a lot of the roughhouse tactics and simply out-finesse the roughhouse tactics of Shawn Porter? I don't know. It's interesting. Drop your comments below and give me your initial thoughts on this rumored matchup. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.